Hey guys, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching, and I'm doing a little bit of a different trade review tonight than I do on most days. I'm going to start off normal where I just kind of go over the chart from the day, but I am then going to pick up and go through how the day broke down. And if I can get back to it, there we go. So this is today's ES chart, and if you'll notice a couple of things that were very distinct. First of all, the support resistance areas. If you look at the market preview, which I have posted right below here, you'll see that first of all, we had mentioned that we would not be trading in the first 30 minutes, but if we were, or if you're very aggressive, the trade location that I wanted for a long today were three areas. I wanted 1994 and 3/4, 1989.50 to 1987.50, and 1984 and a quarter to 1982 and a quarter. Okay, so obviously out of the gate, none of those opened. And secondly, we clearly drove. Now, you'll notice there's a complete absence of zones between really Monday's low at 2002 and really 2010 and 3/4. And really on the upside, the target was the open gap. Again, this was covered in the market preview. And then ultimately 2018.50 to 2020.50 was the upside. And I had warned about the ability of the market to trade right through. What I did not expect, I was not surprised by the fact that we opened and drove higher, particularly with the negative tick that opened up. What I was surprised by, however, was a complete change. Um, I don't know how to describe this quality exactly, but as a day trader, what you need is rotation. Rotation gives you the luxury of getting out of a trade. It'd be very nice to go, well, I'm just going to short 2014.50. That's my magical trade location. And I'm not worried about anything else. I just know that's the short. And occasionally I can get that. Normally, I take open gaps and I love to short them for the very reason, the very response that we got today. But there's another quality in day trading. That's the ability to kind of go back and forth. So I want to kind of compare and contrast. This was the price action and the chart. So this is the chart from uh, Monday, yesterday, and you can see it was a relatively balanced day, right? But when we come over here and look at this, is the same chart, just looking at a 1 minute chart where it's highlighted here, and then look at the quality of the 1 minute of the bars, right? So this is the first 10 minutes. You see that we rotated down from 2008 down to 2000, let's call it 250. Not a huge rotation, but sufficient. We then proceed to turn around and rotate right back up to about 208 and a quarter. From 208 and a quarter, we come right back down to 204. We have a small rotation back to 207.75, come down, and then we have a beautiful rotation right down to about 202. And you can see there's this kind of give and flow and ebb and take all day long, right? You can see that all the way through here. It gets a little choppy in the afternoon, but there's this constant kind of um, give and take. This is the 1 minute chart from today. I'll show this to you. Oh. And so the first quality you'll notice is that look at the lack, almost complete lack of rotation. The biggest rotation you see here is really from 06 to about 03, and then again 08 to 09 to 07, about 2 point rotation. So when I see this, one of the prime qualities that I want as a day trader so that I can excel is I want to see within a 5 minute bar 3 to 5 points of rotation minimum, and that's within this 5 minutes. So in this 5 minute period, all right, so if we break that down within these 5 bars, you'll notice the best we're able to generate is 2 points of rotation, which means you literally have to be perfect to be able to get a 5 or 6 tick scale out of that, right? The other thing that you'll see is that obviously we had a large negative tick, and you'll see in that video I covered with the guys in my room that we don't trade the first 30 minutes of the day. What's the reason for that? We want to avoid getting run over, and it gives us the ability to monitor what's going on in the market without having to step in or without getting run over. The other thing you'll see is this. Look at this huge expanse where there's no zone. This was done from a strategic standpoint. This had been the middle of a chop area the prior day. It was just an area we didn't trade in, and as you can see, anything that we traded, even if we chose to trade in the first half hour, right, by not having a zone in here, it really kept us free almost the entire hour. And then at this point, by the time I'm looking at the entire hour, it's pretty easy to call out in the room and go, hey guys, no rotation, no trade. Right now, I want to stop there for a second. Look at the quality of the items that we had to make that decision. Less than 2 to 3 points of rotation per 5-minute bar. Less than pretty much gap down, straight drive up, right? No rotation, consistent buying on the upside, and even though this zone was pretty much placed, well, almost perfectly, it felt 2 ticks shy of getting a fill up here. I still said I'm not trading up here. Why? There's no rotation. Now, here's where things got tricky for me, and I want to show you where the best part of my day came. I took a trade on the rotation back about 5 points down, actually a little bit less than 5 points down, here at 2010 50, 2010 75, looking for a rotation up. And I did get it. Notice that it did hook right here. But really what I would have expected would have been at least a 50-60 retrace, or maybe even a retest and an actual tagging of the open gap at 15.25. So I stayed very patient in this trade. As a matter of fact, I gave it all the way till over here at 11:30. But after 20 minutes, I did come in and say, hey, look, normally my time to scale on a trade that I identify as a scalp is under 20 minutes. We've exceeded that 20 minutes. Obviously, everyone in the room is responsible for their own risk, but that I did suggest closing the position for a very small loss. The next thing that happened over here, guys, is once I recognized that we were unable to get a rotation up, is that I realized that the same PA that we had going up, where it was almost impossible to get a counter trade, was starting to get generated over here. And so when we came down to the downside over here, even though the zone, the first time from above, right, this zone location, which was 20.0225, gave a 2-point rotation up. This zone from first time in, 2003 gave a 2-point rotation up. It was still, in my eyes, too dangerous. Now you got to realize two things as a trader. I want to talk about this. We are constantly torn between greed and fear as traders, right? You can multiply that when you lead a trading room, right? Now, if you don't care about anybody, you can just call out everything, and I can just say, hey, look, zones were perfect. First time in the zone, 2 points. First time in the zone, 2 points. Day done, 4 points in the bag. It was easy, no problem. The reality is, when I sensed that these rotations were not working properly, and we had already traded through here so easily, I simply said, I'm not taking a trade down in this location. And if you'll notice, it was really a smart thing to do from a bigger picture standpoint, because once again, just like we were getting no down rotations coming up, we were getting no up rotations here. This is very different than the price action we've experienced over the last couple of days, where retraces, 50-60 retraces, and all day long, really off 5-6 point rotations, we were getting counter trades out of them and really able to put away money pretty easily. This is quite the opposite type of price action, and no amount of patience would have helped you through here, because we were just kind of getting sunk. And obviously we sunk and closed all the way through down into where I originally had planned to take a long, which was this 1994.75. And you'll notice, first time in, that 1994.75 generated a 3-point rotation back up. The zone was perfectly placed. The trade took place too late in the day. We hit it right with half an hour left to go. Just like I don't like to trade the first half hour, I definitely don't like to trade the last half hour. And it was also an unusual close in that we closed literally at the low of the day. In this particular case, that puts us at 2 out of the last 20 trading days where we closed at the low. It's a rare occurrence and not something I generally want to bet on. I really thought we had a good chance of coming back up and testing this 2002. So the 3 points that I want to take away from the trade review tonight. First of all, as a day trader, it's very important that in that first 15 to 30 minutes you identify, are there sufficient rotations for you to take a trade? You got to remember, transaction costs are expensive, right? And you also spend it from your emotional bank account and your psychological bank account. Quick and early identification of whether there's tradable rotations is very, very important to your ability to make money consistently. It's something that I take great pride in and I key off of. By not standing in the way of any of this up move, given it had been nice to be long, and had we tested probably down into this 1994.75, this is where I wanted to take a long, I probably would have caught a pretty nice ride to the upside, right? Up here, there was absolutely no rotations coming into here. I just simply would have had to bet that this is the top. For those who got it, congratulations. I need evidence that the market's going to give me some kind of two-way action before taking a trade. So I did take the trade up here, and we didn't actually close the gap. This decision alone, right here, not to take a trade, saves me from essentially, let's just call it 1997, all the way up to essentially 2015. That's 18 points worth of rotation where I did not get run over. No one in the room got run over. That's immensely valuable. You avoid days like this where you're trying to fade them, you do great. When I closed the trade out here, my losing trade in this area right here, I immediately identified that the price action we had on the way up was the price action we were having on the way down. I stopped taking trades on the way down. Now, given I can look at my zones and say, okay, sure, I ended up missing trades that would have otherwise worked on the downside before making a final push at the end of the day, and I could have even taken the zone at the end of the day. But let me tell you where this would have backfired on me. I'd already taken a loss up here because I couldn't get the rotation back up. And had I taken the 50-60 retrace, guys, I'm going to show that to you right here, I would have gotten run over. Normally, most days, first test of the midpoint, and certainly first test of the 62 retrace gives a push back to the upside. Even if I had not taken my trade in this location first time back, even if I had not taken it, had I taken a trade anywhere in here, it was obviously impossible to avoid a stop to the downside. Instead of getting angry that the market didn't give me my rotation up and didn't pay me, because I was able to stay calm and cool here, not taking trades out of desperation, I recognize the price action. Instead of getting upset that the market didn't pay me over here, I went back to my emotional stronghold, which was, what is the market information trying to tell me? And am I at a point of weakness and where the market's threatening me, or is the market giving me good intelligence and I can use that for my own benefit? And what I saw here was, well, if I can't get a rotation, which obviously means there's no continuation, I can't even get, if you notice, there's no 50-60 retrace from the swing high. Well, instead of being upset that the market's not paying me, and instead of being upset that I didn't catch a short, and I certainly had nothing to be upset about on this move up in terms of being short because I wasn't, right? I was grateful that I didn't get run over and I had the knowledge, experience, and acumen to avoid getting run over here. I simply said I'm not taking any trades on the downside here because just like we ran straight up here, I had no way of knowing that we might run straight down over here. And so I did the hardest thing there is to do in trading, and that is I surrendered the day. Okay? And that is hard for most people to do. But if you want to be a professional trader and you want to make millions of dollars trading, I know it sounds a little outrageous to a lot of people, but it's doable. If you want to make millions of dollars trading, you have to be able to recognize what the price action is, right? It's not enough just to have the setup. You have to recognize the price action and whether that price action fits the context of your trading or not. So this price action didn't fit our context. We immediately withdrew from the field of play, and it saved us an enormous amount of capital in terms of losses. So the day was successful. So if you'd like to have this kind of edge in your daily trading, please send me an email. My name is Simon. You can email me at tradeandperform@gmail.com. Stop being frustrated and start getting the edge you need to be consistent and successful in the market on a day in, day out basis. Ask for a 5-day free trial. I'll be more than happy to extend that to you. Anyways, I hope everyone had a wonderful day today. My day was a little bit trying, but I'm very grateful I got out with one loss and one loss only. And in a market, in an environment like this, where we whipped straight up and then we pretty much ripped straight down. The only disappointment being the area I wanted my long location from before market got tagged right at the end of the day. It did give a profitable trade, but it was too late in the day for me to take advantage of it. But there's always tomorrow. And since I didn't take a significant hit today, I have nothing to fear from tomorrow and I can look for new opportunities. And if you'll also notice, it's currently 8:30, and if you look on your trading dome this evening, our low was 1889.50. We're currently trading at 1992, and that 1889.50 was right where our next support resistance zone came in. Again, you can't make this stuff up. The zones are incredibly accurate. the pattern identification is very accurate, and reading of the price action. All of this gives us a big edge through the course of the day. And when you have that edge, you don't have to make money every day. Sometimes it's sufficient enough to sidestep the difficult areas and look for where the fresh opportunities are going forward. And we accomplished that mission today. So anyways, my name is Simon. If you want a real edge in your trading, please either subscribe or ask for a trial subscription to the room. We'll be more than happy to help you. I hope everyone made wonderful, wonderful amounts of money today. I look forward to doing this all over again tomorrow. Have a great night all.